I watched them cry at my funeral while wearing the same jewelry they stole from me. The church was packed with fake tears, flowers, and a giant portrait of me, Sarah Miller, smiling like I wasn't about to burn every lie in that room to the ground. 3 days ago, I got a video. No message. Just a shaky recording of a memorial service. My face on the screen, my name engraved in gold on the casket. In loving memory of our beloved daughter. I froze, my parents, my sister Elena, all front row, mourning a death they staged. But I wasn't dead. I was very much alive and finally ready to destroy them. 5 years earlier, they said I stole $80,000 from the family business, fired me, disowned me, left me homeless. But the real thief? Elena. Daddy's golden girl. She drained the account, framed me, and they believed her without question. I begged for a chance to prove my innocence, but they slammed the door in my face. Literally, I rebuilt everything from scratch. New job, new city. But I never stopped watching them or gathering proof until now. The funeral? It wasn't just a lie. It was legal murder. They declared me dead in court, erased my identity, stole my trust fund, transferred all assets to Elena, the ultimate betrayal. And I have the documents, the forged signature, the bank statements, the legal affidavit, all tucked in my bag, next to a hidden mic and 2 GoPros. So when I walked through the church doors, every head turned, every fake cry died in the air. My mother's hand flew to her chest like she'd seen a ghost. Elena turned white as the lilies by my fake coffin. And I said just 5 words. You buried the wrong girl. But the moment I opened my bag to reveal the truth, I saw a police officer walking toward me. The cop's boots echoed louder than the gasps in the church. I froze, because for a split second I thought Elena had called the cops on me again, like she did the day I was dragged out of our family office in front of 20 employees, humiliated and handcuffed for a crime I didn't commit. But this time I stood tall. The officer stopped, looked around, then whispered, "Miss Miller?" I nodded slowly, not knowing what came next. He leaned in. "Your lawyer's waiting outside. Proceed." Boom! Every face in the church flickered with confusion and fear. I walked past rows of fake mourners, each one staring like I'd crawled out of the grave. People whispered, "Is that really her?" But they said she overdosed. I thought she died in Mexico. They had rewritten my life like it was a tragic soap opera. Even created a fake cause of death. A fabricated overdose, in a country I've never even visited. I stood in front of the altar, next to the casket meant to hold my name. My father stood now, jaw clenched, sweating bullets. "Sarah," he said, voice shaking, we thought you were gone." I turned to the crowd, unzipping my bag slowly like a magician pulling secrets from a hat. "I'm not gone. I was erased." Then I dropped the first document, a notarized court file showing my legal death certification signed by a judge who was mysteriously friends with my father. Gasps. The second document, a forged letter with my signature transferring my trust fund to Elena. More gasps. The third, a full confession from the former family accountant, recorded, time-stamped, and verified, admitting that Elena wired the $80,000 to her private account. That's when all hell broke loose. Elena lunged forward. "You crazy bitch! You forged this! You're obsessed with ruining me!" The crowd erupted, phones out, cameras flashing. Some people started live streaming. My uncle tried to cover her mouth, but she kept screaming. My mother broke into tears. "We did what we had to do. You were going to destroy this family." I stepped closer to her. "Number you destroyed me, and now the world will know." That's when the church doors burst open. Again. A second cop entered, but this one wasn't here for backup. He marched straight toward me and handed me a sealed envelope. "Court order," he said coldly. "You're under federal investigation for identity fraud and financial tampering." My heart stopped. I opened the envelope, and inside was a fresh warrant with my name on it. But the name listed as complainant made my blood boil. Elena Miller. For a moment, everything blurred. Elena had filed a federal complaint against me. The same sister who faked my death, stole my money, and paraded in my clothes, he was now flipping the script. "She's dangerous," Elena shrieked to the officer, "and she's mentally unstable. She's been stalking us for years. Look at her. She's impersonating my dead sister." Some people in the church gasped again, this time unsure who to believe. And that was the moment I realized Elena's not just evil, she's prepared. She knew I was coming. She anticipated the truth and built a new lie even bigger than before. This wasn't just betrayal. It was war. I clenched my fists and turned to the officer. "You're holding a warrant based on a forged identity. I am Sarah Miller. I never died. I have proof." He looked hesitant. "Ma'am, I need to take you in for questioning." That's when my attorney stepped forward. His name was Daniel Brooks, former federal prosecutor, now my legal bulldog. He walked straight past the stunned crowd and said calmly, "Not another step. That warrant is invalid." The officer blinked. "Sir, signed by Judge Terrence Hollis," Daniel interrupted, holding up another file, "who is currently under federal investigation for fraudulent estate handling. This case is rotten from the root." Elena's jaw dropped. Daniel turned to the crowd and raised his voice. "Ladies and gentlemen, this woman's identity was erased through a coordinated legal fraud. We filed charges with the district attorney and submitted a civil suit for damages totaling $2.5 million. Gasps again. Now, people believed me. But I wasn't finished. I turned to the projector on the church wall, clicked a remote, and on the screen played a video of Elena laughing in a hotel room with a drink in hand. "She really thinks she died in that system crash," she giggled to someone off screen. "Daddy made it all disappear. Money's in my Cayman account." Dead silence. My mother collapsed into a pew. My father stood frozen like stone. And Elena? She ran. Heels pounding. She pushed through the side door, her fake tears gone, mask shattered. I chased her through the hallway, past portraits of saints and stained glass. My breath was burning. "Stop running, Elena!" I shouted. But she darted into the side garage. And that's when I saw what she was holding. My old passport and a bag full of burner phones. I hadn't seen that passport in 5 years. It was mine. Worn, water-damaged, but real. The same one I thought was lost the day I was kicked out. Now here it was, clutched in Elena's hand like a weapon. Along with a Ziploc bag of burner phones, foreign cash, and IDs with different names. But my face. "You were going to disappear again," I whispered, stunned. "Or make me disappear. For good." She spun around, her face twisted. "You think this is over, Sarah? You think people are going to believe a ghost over me? I've already buried you once. I can do it again." And she meant it. I backed up slowly, my mind racing. She was cornered, dangerous, desperate. Then she pulled something from the duffel bag. It wasn't a weapon, it was a second death certificate. But this one was dated tomorrow. "Elena, what is this?" I breathed. She smirked. "Insurance. You think I faked your death once? I had a backup plan. This time you disappear for real. The police won't believe you. The bank won't believe you. I own your name, your face, your whole damn life." I stared at her, realization hitting me like a truck. Elena didn't just ruin me, she became me. Suddenly, the side door burst open. Daniel and the officer from earlier stormed in, followed by 2 more marshals. She screamed, "Don't touch me! She's a fraud! I'm Sarah Miller!" She held up the passport and tried to shove it into one officer's hand, but Daniel stepped forward and dropped a final bombshell. "She's lying," he said. "We've submitted facial recognition evidence, timestamps from border control, and 2 DNA tests. One came from the toothbrush she left in your apartment, Sarah. The other from a sealed letter your mother kept since your birth." One of the marshals nodded. "It's confirmed! The real Sarah Miller is standing right here." Elena dropped the bag. The phones crashed to the ground, scattering like roaches. She screamed, but this time no one believed her. The officer read her Miranda rights while snapping cuffs onto her wrists, but just before they dragged her out, she leaned close to me, her voice sharp and low. "You think this is justice?" she hissed. "Wow. Wait until you see what he did." I blinked. "Wow. Who?" She smiled through her tears. "Dad." Her words hit harder than any betrayal I'd faced so far. "Dad?" My legs stiffened as the marshals dragged Elena away, her laughter echoing like some twisted warning. And in that moment, I knew this story wasn't just about her, it was bigger. I walked back into the main hall of the church where my father sat alone in the front pew, hands shaking, eyes darting toward every camera still recording. His empire of lies had just shattered on live stream, but he still wore that same CEO smirk, like none of it touched him. "I never wanted it to go this far," he said coldly. "You should have just stayed gone, Sarah." My voice cracked, not from fear, but rage held too long in my throat. "You filed the paperwork. You signed the death certificate. You let your daughter fake my funeral. You erased me to protect your legacy." He stood up slowly. "It was never about legacy. It was about loyalty. You betrayed this family the moment you questioned Elena. You brought shame. I did what I had to do." "No," I said, "you did what cowards do. You picked the liar because the truth made you look weak." I pulled out my phone and pressed one final play. Security footage, time-stamped, dated just days before my disownment. It showed him, my father, authorizing the transfer of $80,000 into Elena's hidden account. Not just covering it up, helping her, and laughing about it afterward. The church erupted. Reporters who had rushed in mid-chaos now filmed his face as the crowd turned, gasps, phones up, people whispering. He knew he helped cover financial fraud. Wasn't he on the Board of Education? I turned to the police. That footage was recovered legally from the old office server, hidden in archive backups. They didn't hesitate. The same officers who arrested Elena now walked up the aisle. And for the first time, my father flinched. Handcuffs clicked. He didn't resist. Couldn't. Not after his kingdom collapsed in front of the very people who once worshipped him. He looked up at me one last time as they led him out. "You ruined everything." "No," I whispered. "You built everything on a lie. I just turned the lights on." The aftermath made headlines across the country. Fake funeral scandal. Exposes millionaire family's crimes. Woman declared dead, returns with legal proof and brings down empire. Sarah Miller, the comeback no one saw coming. I didn't just survive. I reclaimed my name. With the $2.5 million lawsuit moving forward, my stolen trust restored, and my story now part of a viral movement for victims of identity fraud, I started a nonprofit for women who had been erased, just like me. But the real victory wasn't legal. It was standing in front of the mirror again and finally saying, "I exist, and I'm done hiding." They tried to bury me, but I wasn't the casket. I was the match, and they just gave me fuel.